Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. The tone of our episode last week was very cautious and apprehensive with the upcoming election. However, this past weekend,
We
we
got that nigga the fuck up out of there.
the
We got that man the fuck up out of there.
fucking Trump pack is lit. It is still
This
burning
is
to this day. Shout out to America for finally doing right. We're here once again. I'm here with the boy King Solomon,
many
rap
blessings.
extraordinaire, Black King, faithful Black King. Does it all. You know me.
Guru. Add some more names, so we'll push it later.
And of course, I'm the boy Armon, vegan chorizo poppy, 3 Mile Monday poppy, all that good stuff. Stay busy. Episode just dropped Monday. Make sure you tap into that.
Yeah, make sure you tap back in, boy. So that niggas know. Niggas know I was there for episode 1. I seen it. I
Yeah.
seen the rise.
Loyal. Shout out to John and Cerebral Sound Studios for holding us down. So yeah, we want to jump into our discussion. This weekend was pretty light on the music, thankfully. I didn't want to feel having to listen to too much, knowing that we had to wait days to get the election results. But there was one.
That shit was long.
Yeah. It was a lot, man. It's like there was a lot of anxiety going into it, and then to have to watch the results.
Go for 5 days, 6 days, 7 days. Like, god damn. Like, all right, at this point, like, all right, I'll get plugged and then get shit back. Cause let's end this shit. Like, god damn.
But I will say the fact that we got the results on a Saturday and the weather happened to be beautiful, like it just things really fell in place for us to really enjoy that moment. And I mean, like with such a crazy year that we had, like it's gonna be a wild story to tell our future generations.
Niggas not gonna believe a word we say.
Yeah, and another thing that I think they're not gonna believe is that on election weekend, the Brown Boy Nav dropped an amazing project called Emergency Tsunami, which
let's talk about it.
Exclusively produced by Wheezy out of here. So he has some very solid features. Some features that you would probably expect. Some strong artists in 2020: Lil Baby, Gunna, Lil Keed, Young Thug, Sa Baby. Was there anyone else? I think. No, that's it. Yeah. It was just 14 songs, a 33-minute project. I really enjoyed it. I was able to run it a few times. I had a cool concept, kind of starting off with this news report and then ending with the news report. Nav, I'll say one of the biggest critiques he gets is that a lot of his bars tend to be corny, and there weren't too many bars that felt, like the typical corny bars that Nav was saying like earlier in his career. He's constantly talking about how he was doubted and, he felt like he had to make this money and succeed for people to take him seriously. And there are a lot of people who still don't want to take him seriously, but like he was.
Was that where the hate came from? Because I came to listen to Nav a little later in his career, but what I did, all I saw was the anti-Nav thing. So I mean, since clearly it looks like you have a little bit more background than I do on it, where does the anti-Nav movement stem from?
So, and this kind of goes into the larger conversation that I wanted to have. I genuinely think he is someone that music fans don't find to be cool. Like if you look at him, if you listen to the things he says, if you listen to his voice, like some people just don't deem him to be cool, like like they would deem a Young Thug or a Future or a Drake or a Lil Baby. Like Nav's look as a brown boy, like I'm sure to a lot of people it probably seems like he's trying to fit in and be black. And being from Toronto, he obviously has experiences around a lot of people like that. But at the end of the day, he's truly not black. So I think there's just that kind of barrier of people accepting him.
But it'd be the white fans that get mad. It'll always be the nigga fans. All the white fans, I see they get very upset with that. Like all the hate was more, all the anti-Nav movement was really more from the white hip hop fans. So that, but your point to him being uncool makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense.
And I think and while I have my perspectives on white hip hop fans, I also think that what they view as cool may not be as maybe diverse as like what like we view as cool, because we kind of set the trends for them, but
Yeah.
they don't enjoy everything we like. Like I don't think white people love Griselda the way like you love Griselda.
Yeah.
Um,
No, that's a very good point.
yeah, so I think they have a very limited perspective on it. And while I saw Nav live when I went to that festival in Vegas, and like there was a pretty large crowd there like for him, and like it was a pretty mixed bag of people. I think at the end of the day, we always have to consider like Twitter is a very limited source of
Yeah.
perspectives and opinions. Like Nav's
Yeah.
Nav's albums chart, and like numbers aren't everything, but like his albums do sell pretty well, and so there is a demographic of people who support him. But I think culturally he gets so much criticism because of his persona, and this kind of goes into a hot take that I had when we did the pod a couple months ago. I said Nav's album Good Intentions was better than Future's album High Off Life, and if you remember, Future's album was pretty disappointing to a lot of people.
I mean, you know what? It's not to even go too deep into the Future project, but the Future project is how, at least for me, Future career has been, where he'll give me 3 or 4 undeniable classics, and he'll give me 5 or 6 shits that was like, come on, bro, you clearly either were tired that day or you just didn't really put too much effort into this one.
Yeah, and I definitely think that I had somewhat high expectations for that project, and it's natural because Future has shot pretty well throughout his career. Like I wouldn't say he has too many misses for me. So I don't think that I was wrong for having such high expectations for his project. Now Nav, he's someone who people constantly kind of try to keep down and push down. He's very, very underrated. So I think coming with the project he came with in 2020 was very impressive. And then to come with this Wheezy project as well, like the beats on there are incredible. Wheezy gave Nav some very, very great beats, and Nav finds really, really good pockets, and like he makes very simple, catchy hooks, and he has a nice melodic voice that he probably could diversify his sound a bit more, but like he's solid at doing what he does. But I think a lot of people don't really give him that fair listen because his persona. And so I think specifically with my Nav versus Future take, people automatically hear Nav versus Future. It's like, bro, Future is Future. Future is our toxic king.
Yeah.
Future is like,
yeah.
Like how could you possibly say Nav is better? But like, I'm not saying Nav's a better artist. I'm not saying he has a stronger catalog. I'm just saying if you look at their 2020 projects, I've personally enjoyed Nav's projects a lot more than I enjoyed Future's one project. And Future's put out amazing features this year, like Snitchin', Pardon Me. Like he's doing his thing rap wise. Just project wise, he kind of missed the mark one time, and like that happens. So yeah, I've been talking. I want you to weigh in.
No, and I'm happy you did, because there's a couple of things I want to kind of dive into what you said. But before I even get there, I do want to talk a little bit, because my perspective on this project is a little interesting. I think over me listening to Nav's projects, and I can't. I think the first one I listened to was the one with him and Metro. I think it was. I forgot which project was my first one.
That came out in summer 17.
Yeah, that might have been my first real exposure to Nav, but he makes very, very good background music. And what I say by that is, if I'm doing something, listening, playing a video game, whatever, he has very, very good music just to play. Like shit, like if there's a party going on, you just drive, like shit where you're not really trying to dissect and indulge, into this deep thought, where you just need something to play that you can enjoy while doing whatever it is that you're doing. Yeah. I think Nav is really good at that. And I think this project shows really catchy hooks that, you can kind of sink your teeth into. Fire beats, and I believe Nav is a producer, right? That's where he got good his teeth. So yeah, that was one thing I have noticed over his career. His production, although it does get very repetitive, but those shits do hit. Like when he gets something that hits, that shit hits and it sticks. So, I think if you don't want to, he's just not the artist where you're gonna listen. At least to me, where you're gonna sit there bar for bar try to dissect it. I feel like that's not really the point. I feel like for him, it's much more of, here's some fire shit that you're gonna enjoy when you're doing different things. And if you think about it, how we are today as a society, that's how we listen to music anyway. It's rare that, unless it's your favorite artist, you don't really sit there and just dissect the project. Most of the time, you're listening while you're doing 10 other different things. So I think, and that's kind of where I think the beauty of Nav is. He kind of was doing that early. I guess he must have noticed, especially during production, kind of seeing how people were absorbing music, and he really just started making these more just, I hate using the word vibe now because stuff is overused, but just making some more like the atmosphere music where, like, again, you can just do shit and like it's something like you can really pop your head to because the beats is knocking and the hooks, they go. So, but I do want to, one of the things that you mentioned, the Nav and Future tape, I'm curious as to why the comparison is the two, because I feel like they're just so different artists and they make such different music,
right?
That I would like, although it's so, because Future for me is so weird because yes, like I do enjoy Future background music sometimes, but I do take time to really listen to some of his lyrics when I can tell he's trying. Like Future's definitely that artist when he's trying and he wants to get a message across, like them shits be hitting. So I'm curious why those, like, why was that your comparison? Or at least, yeah.
Yeah, and I admit, like, it was a hot take. I was kind of doing it to like stir some stuff up. But like it's true feelings I have. Like I genuinely enjoy Nav's album, Good Intentions specifically, more than High Off Life. And I definitely enjoy this more recent one more than High Off Life. And like I've revisited High Off Life and it's just, and yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Like ultimately we don't go to Nav for what we go to Future for. And even if you could kind of say they make like similar music, Future can do way more as an artist than Nav can.
Yeah.
Future sings, Future harmonizes, Future raps,
yeah.
Future's doing drill beats now, and like I'm sure Nav could do all that too, but Future does it at a much higher level. I think it was the combined disappointment with what Future did with the pleasant surprise of how much stronger Nav put together a project, because like I enjoy his debut project. I think it was self-titled or it was called Myself. Yeah, it was self-titled.
Oh, I did hear that. Yeah.
That was cool. Perfect Timing was cool. He would have very high highs on his albums, and then some songs that I could kind of do without. And then Reckless, I kind of felt like he fell off a bit. Bad Habits is when he came with Tap with Meek Mill, Price on My Head.
Yeah, no, that was a good project.
And Young Thug.
Price on My Head is one of those records that I was surprised didn't go as nuts as I felt it should, because that is by far my favorite Nav record.
Yeah,
like that Price on My Head, I think is a special record.
Yeah, so I've seen really steady progression with him making more complete projects. And so him coming with Good Intentions in 2020, because I had such high expectations for the year, and it's like, they really hyped up the release of Good Intentions as well. And then coming with that deluxe version really quickly as well. So I was like, yo, like the energy being put into this Nav project is like more than anything I've ever seen before. So it's like you kind of pay attention to a rollout like that, then you hear the music and it's like, oh shit, like they really believed in this music, and this music hit the way it did. Future, I think he only announced his project like a week and a half prior, and like Future's at the point now where like he can do that. He doesn't have to promote for a month, and like
yeah, but you can also tell when he cares. Like that's the thing, you can tell when Future cares about a project and when it was just like, all right, we can get this off type deal. And I think his last Future project, that was much more of getting turned off. But I do want to ask you a question because we are talking comparisons a little bit here. This Nav project and Eternal Awake.
Eternal Wheezy. So I'm in the camp of people, which I think is very small. I didn't love Eternal Atake. Like,
really?
Yeah.
Really?
I didn't love it. Like, and one of my boys was tweeting about it the other day. He was tweeting about like what the best deluxe albums this year are. A lot of people said Wanna's Deluxe, My Turn Deluxe, the Uzi Deluxe, and then Lil Keys Deluxe. And I was like, yo, for real, like I enjoy Uzi's Deluxe more than I enjoyed the initial Eternal.
Wow.
You know, I don't really know what it was. Like, it really could have been my expectations, because like that was something we were waiting for a while, and it was a surprise drop. Well, not really much of a surprise, but it was just like, I think it was at noon on a Friday. And yeah, I didn't love it. So I mean, like, I don't.
See, and the reason I want to compare those two is because, you know, I enjoy Eternal Awake, and I enjoy it for what it is, which is, you know, if you are a Uzi fan, right, he makes this, like, he has this energy in his music that I think that's exactly why his fans are cult followers. Like, and I'm not even, you know, that big of a Uzi guy, and I could feel it through some of those records. Now, I know some people didn't like some of the beats because they're a little bit out there, like weird, but like, I really, because you know what it was? For that realm of music, that realm of hip hop, you know, I do feel like people get so stuck in this bubble of trap where you literally, it sounds like a baby record, or it sounds like a Gunna record. Like, you know, you get in this circle where I think the beauty, and that was what I truly loved about Dirty Sprite 2, which was those trap beats were so weird and raunchy and like nasty. Yeah. And to hear Uzi kind of not in such a nasty way, but much more like a positive way, which is weird to say, but much more like a happier type of tone, but still have those weird sounds that don't make no sense. Like I think Pop was one of the records I really like. That beat is nasty. It's weird, but I really like that record. So the reason I want to compare the two is I think both of their beat selections are interesting. Like, Nav is really, really good when it comes to his production. I think Uzi does a very good job too. So just sonically, I wanted to see where you were between the two. Because again, I just think, it's so hard to compare anything when it comes to Future, just because, and honestly, the only one that I can compare anything to Future is Young Thug, because I feel that way about Young Thug. Now, recently, Young Thug's projects have been absolutely insane, but there was a stretch where I felt when Thug tried, shit sounded crazy. When he didn't try, shit, like, it was a complete hit or miss for me. And I feel Future does the same exact shit. Like, sometimes when he wants to give us a fucking Monster or a Monster 2, he'll give us that. And other times he'll give us an Evolve, which I don't even think anybody remembers Evolve. You know, let's hear Future there. You know what I'm saying? I think Evolve dropped right after a major, one of his, maybe it was Hendrix. I could be wrong, but
dropped after
he dropped something right before.
31.
He dropped so much goddamn music. It was a monster project he dropped before Evolve, and Evolve fell flat on the shit. So, you know, that's why I wanted to see how you felt about Nav. But again, shout out to Nav, man. Shout out to the Brown Boy. I know he gets a lot of heat, but I thought the music was fire.
Yeah, and I'm gonna revisit Eternal just so I can give it a fair reassessment, because it has been a while. Like, because it didn't resonate, and I'm a big Uzi fan, so that's also why it was like, damn, this is not hidden for me. Like, there's a couple joints, but yeah, it didn't do it for me. But I'll revisit. But I wanted to ask, this kind of sparked a question for you as an artist, because I do really feel like the Nav and Future thing, a big part of it has to do with their personas, and Future's cool to us and Nav isn't. So for you as an artist, you know, you being a rapper who's clearly talented, but you also have to appeal to people, like how does it feel to know that like there's a portion of music listeners who may not pay as much attention to the music, like they care more about the person and like how cool they are, and they want to dress like them, or they want to be like them with women, but like they might not actually be as much into the music, if this makes sense.
No, yeah, I completely understand. I think right now more than ever, there's a divide when it comes to artists and music, right? So if you want to be a mainstream artist, you have to appeal. And appealing is, being on socials. I mean, granted, if you're an artist, you're on socials anyway, but, appealing or being on socials in a way that people will think you're quote unquote cool, as you said. So for Nav, and now understanding that, I can see where he runs into trouble because he's in that realm, right? He's in that lane of wants to be this megastar, but struggling with this image that people don't want to be him. You know what I mean? Now, on the flip side, there are artists like, I could say someone like No Name or someone like a bunch of other artists who the image is, the fact that they don't reach for an image is why they're so beloved amongst their group, right? The fact that they're not trying to be mainstream and the fact that they don't try to be quote unquote cool, but again, their music also translates to that, right? They're not going on typical trap beats. They're not going on mainstream sound. They're doing much more of like, whether it's like the jazzy feel or someone like Freddie Gibbs who still does like real rap. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I think, as an artist, it's really just more of, what you feel comfortable with. Because I think what happens to a lot of artists is they feel like they want to be this megastar and they want to play this part, but once they're there, they realize what comes with that, right? And it's only a certain select few of people who, can do that, right? It's got to be really part of your DNA to be that type of nigga to just go out there and be cool or be at least perceived as cool, right? Now, on the flip side, again, if that's not your route, that's fine, but you also have to accommodate, right? You can't. It's hard for you to come on these hard ass Nav beats when, you know what I'm saying, you're not cool or you don't look. It just makes your path. And as you can see, for someone like Nav, he had to do the extra, right? He had to go into production. Maybe that's how he started, but he had to move his production. He had to get features by the weekend. Like he had to, in order just to even get here, right? And we're not even talking about major status. We're talking about just being respected in your field. And this guy has features this guy has bigger features than most of these up and come, like, RP, I know he just passed King Von, who's on up and come up, right? People loved him and his buzz is crazy. Now I've had, granted he was a new artist, but even you can compare time frames and you can see the features Nav was getting. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, he within his community, he's well respected, but clearly to the fans of many hip hop heads, they don't respect his look. They don't respect, but again, it's because the music I feel. So I just think ultimately, it really, at the end of the day, you have to be true to yourself.
Yeah.
So if you're somebody who, if you can't play the cool person role, don't bother, right? There's so many avenues and lanes you can touch right now where you don't have to try to be that guy. But if you want it, but at the same time, you probably won't be Drake. You're probably not gonna be Gunna or Baby. Like, but look at the work that Baby and Gunna put in. Like, just think about it. Every fucking song you hear right now has a Baby and Gunna verse on it. So think about all the shit that A, people haven't heard yet, B, the shit that people will hear, and then C, the shit that you do hear. So just think about how much work these niggas are putting in. You know what I'm saying? So it just really, you gotta be true to yourself. You have to be true to yourself, and whatever happens kind of just happens.
Yeah. Word. Well, cool. Just wanted an artist perspective on that. And lastly, just to make you a little angry, the timeline.
Yeah, I'm gonna put this in our fucking discography thing today, and I had a rough day moving things. I did get the new Xbox, so I was in a pretty good mood. And then he just told me, go ahead, tell the people first, so I get upset.
So with the excitement of the amazing Nav project that just dropped, the timeline is giving Wheezy his flowers, and a comparison has been made between Wheezy and J Dilla, the legendary J Dilla.
And you want to know how I know 2020 is a fucked up year? I saw a tweet, and Armon saw it as well. We're in the group chat together, where somebody said, "Is Jay-Z really that good?" Like, this is the point where we've reached, 2020 has fucked our mentals up so much that we question shit that we already know. Like, at this point, we should just question gravity. Like, is gravity real? Who knows? Because if we don't even recognize someone like Jay, whether you we're talking about Jay-Z. Like, we're talking about J Dilla. We're talking about a man who basically even to this day, if you're in production, if you're a producer, you're still trying to do cuts like J Dilla. You're still trying to sample like J Dilla. You're still doing your fucking drums a little off center because of J Dilla. So, and now listen, absolutely no disrespect to Wheezy. I think Wheezy's fire. I think he's on a great run. Wheezy's not even the hottest producer out today, though. Hit Boy's on one of the craziest streaks I've seen in a long time right now with these products he's touching. So, like, you know, I get it. People are in the moment. I get it. People, and don't get me wrong. What Wheezy does when it comes to 808s, just to get real here, like what he's done with 808s and the sound of having his 808s punch the way that they do is definitely new and revolutionary. It's going to continue to push forward. But we're talking J Dilla. Nigga got his whole genre of music. There's a whole genre of hip hop, just J Dilla beats. Like, come on, bro. Like, this is not even. That's like saying, yo, it's fucking. I don't know. But I can't even think of a wilder comparison. Is Big Daddy Kane fucking Nav? Like, what are we talking about here? Like, come on. Like, I get it. You know, a lot of these niggas never got a chance to truly experience those movements, like what was happening to them. But like, come on, bro. If you ask any producer, ask the nigga who you met yesterday who just learned how to produce off YouTube a week ago, he gonna tell you J Dilla is that guy. That's point blank.
I don't have a side in this.
No, Armon, you should. That's my problem here. You have a fucking side.
I will challenge you on a random person you meet who just starts producing, wants to produce like Dilla. I think there's a lot of people who want to make those Playboy Cardi type beats, those thug type beats, those little baby type beats, and then moody.
But you want to know the crazy part?
Like I think there is a section of producers and hip hop fans who have that appreciation for that sound and respect it, but that sound might not sell the most. So,
I could even take it a step further here. I can tell you how like intertwined J Dilla is. Even if you want to make a Playboy Cardi beat, even if you want to do all those type of shit, those drum patterns that you're hearing, that's because of what J Dilla did. These niggas aren't putting their drum patterns on the twos and on the ones and threes, the twos and fours no more. Niggas is all doing the offbeat. That's why these shits is knocking. That's a J Dilla technique. Niggas, see, the thing about it is, when it comes to producing, because everybody's learning off YouTube, like, niggas don't even know what they're doing. You feel me? Like, niggas don't even understand that the sequences that they're hearing and doing and shit like that coming from Dilla. Because niggas wasn't chopping like that. Niggas wasn't doing they samples like that. Niggas wasn't doing they drums off fucking off the ones and threes or twos and fours like that. Like, these are J Dilla techniques that niggas, and again, because right, when you're learning it from YouTube, the YouTube nigga learned from his man, he learned from his man, so it gets washed, you know, in the process. But you don't even have these trap drums without Dilla. So that's how intertwined the nigga is into the production of this shit. Like, the techniques niggas doing that they don't even know they doing are Dilla shit. That's why you can't compare a nigga like Dilla with Wheezy, because Dilla doing shit that you still doing today. Wheezy just hasn't been here long enough. You feel me? That's really what my thing. Like, Wheezy's maybe 5-year run at this point, or maybe I don't even say 5, maybe 3. More of a 3 since Wheezy's name really, really started busting like that.
Maybe like 4 or 5, I'll say.
What's 5, 4 or 5? That's even okay. But like, we talking about a nigga whose name still rings bells 20 years. Now, granted, you are right. The exact sound that he did and, you know, performed, obviously that sound isn't going with stage. That's fine. Music changes all the time. But again, my main point is, you know, a nigga's a fucking legend when niggas are still doing his shit and they don't even know they doing his shit. Niggas don't even know they doing his shit.
Yeah.
You feel me? So it's like, now shout out to Wheezy though. Shout out to Wheezy, great run. But you know what though? Shout out to the producer community.
Yeah.
I will say, this is probably, like, besides the quote unquote golden era of producers, this is probably one of the best producer runs I've seen with these these new records that are coming out that Hit Boy's doing, Wheezy, Murder, I forgot the other one that's on fire right now too. But like the shit that we seeing right now, man, like yo, this is a real legendary moment in time for music, especially hip hop. Like the amount of variety that you can get right now in hip hop is more than it's ever been. Ever. You can get the emo shit, you can get the happy shit, you can get the bars, you can get like whatever your fucking life is like. There's a hip hop record that's gonna rock with you, and these producers are really doing their thing. So shout out to the producers that are out right now. It's definitely changing the game.
Yeah, there's something.
But no more stupid takes. No more stupid takes on Twitter. No more.
I mean, I think the comparison and the conversation just shows how diverse hip hop is, and how, you know, and it speaks to where people hold J Dilla if they want to put up a new popular producer up against someone who is such a legend.
Because he's the name. He's the name. Even if you're not even a producer, you've somehow, if you listen to any type of hip hop, you've heard J Dilla's name some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like that's how much of a. And mind you, his run in hip hop was relatively short. God rest his soul. He passed very young, so it wasn't even like Dilla had this wild, long, you know what I'm saying, career like a Dr. Dre or somebody. Yet to have your name up there with the Dre's in your community, that should tell you how significant, how special the dude was. So, but again, shout out to all the producers that are out right now, man.
Yeah.
Except the YouTube producers. Some of them niggas is corny. I don't want to say names, but some of y'all YouTube niggas is corny.
All right, let us get out of here before John makes somebody angry and we lose.
Yeah, man, before I get canceled on episode 2, B.
I want to give another shout out to our platform, What You Expect, for hosting us. You can check out all of our articles, videos, podcasts, content. You can debate.
You're doing a lot of work, man.
Twitter and IG. You can do it all. We got you. But for
Armon, stay busy. Episode 2 out.
Yeah, yes, sir. So yeah, with that, thank y'all for joining me, myself, Armon, John, and we will catch y'all next week.